everyone.
I'm back, baby.
It's Jake Ciely.
I'm great. Everybody else sucks.
Oh,
no. It's every nightmare I've ever had.
Excuse me?
It's time to check the link.
Pretty crazy, huh? But it doesn't matter because none of this has anything to do with the show.
You know what? You just made the list.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
It's all in football.
Sure, we talk about it all the time. Really? No.
What's up, you ducks? It's the best week in history ever for football. Why? Because it's the worst week of all time for kickers in football. We officially have made it. That is why I'm wearing my Band Kickers t-shirt. It is the best time ever. I was listening to the intro. I was like, I need somebody, maybe like the voice of, who tried like Megatron or Optimus Prime or something like that. And like, it'd be like a Band Kickers I could drop in there. But yes, hashtag Band Kickers. But also, make sure you're following today's guest. It's waiver show, so that means Lauren's on here. Stepmom Lauren, stepmomlauren.com. If you want to go to FTN for Chris Meany and all that good stuff over there, as hockey is starting with his bets and all that type of stuff. Code ALLIN, 20% off. And if you want to go to The Athletic, where we have our coverage, Dom's cheat sheet, which is ridiculous, massive, and the best thing ever created. If you're still doing your drafts there, you can get a first free month and see his stuff too, not just my stuff. theathletic.com/BetsTV, all capitals. I am wearing, again, the Band Kickers t-shirt. But Lauren, when we were texting last night, I said, you should be able to guess what I'm wearing. And then you said that you're wearing a crossover shirt of your favorite Disney princess with a fast food restaurant. And my first response was Chick-fil-A Ariel.
Which was great. I loved it.
Not what you have. So I have four other guesses that I initially came up with. I think one of them's right because it feels like the obvious one. Mm-hmm. But there's two really good ones, and there's two pretty, we'll see, whatever. So I don't even know if most people remember Megara, so I said Megarbies. So
Megara. Yeah, it's not Megara, it's Megara. Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so I don't even know that one. So I know it's probably not that. It's probably not McDonald's instead of McDonald's. No.
That was good, though, too.
So these are the other two. It's one of these two. It's either Snow White Castle.
That is so good.
It's not.
That's going to be my next one. That's going to be my next one I get. But no, it's not that.
Or so Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Is it Taco Bell?
It's Taco Bell.
Well, show everybody so everybody can see.
So there you go.
There you go.
It says if I were a Disney princess, I'd be Taco Bell.
Bell
I have like an unhealthy obsession with Taco Bell, specifically the cheesy gordita crunch and the chicken chalupa, no sour cream, add spicy ranch.
The chicken cheesy gordita crunch, I'm assuming.
No, actually the beef. Just the regular. Yeah, I know.
The Baja sauce,
I loved it.
which they got rid of. That's why I stopped.
I know.
That's why I stopped. That's why I stopped getting it. I used to love the chicken cheesy Baja gordita, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Try the spicy ranch. That is really good.
Nah,
very
it's still
good.
not the
Hold
same.
on, there's like a hair right here. Can't get rid of that.
So which one, before we get started, which one would you go with? Would you go with Chick-fil-A Ariel or Snow White Castle? Which is
okay? So because I live in Florida, there's no White Castle here, and except they just made one in Orlando. But when I lived in St. Louis, my other unhealthy obsession was White Castle. So that is so funny that it's like White Castle, Snow White Castle. That was brilliant. I'm gonna have to make that.
That one's just a layup too. Like all you do is just add Castle to it, right?
Yeah.
So speaking of layups, see, look at the transition you weren't even expecting at the beginning. Darrell Williams is the top option this week. We just did another week, and was it 3 straight weeks? So we had Hubbard, we had last week, and now we had Damian Williams last week, and now we have Darrell Williams this week. The clear thing here is, as we keep saying, is make sure these top end, like there's a lot of backfields that if the lead goes down, it's probably a mess. There are probably 6 to 9, 10 or so, somewhere around that range of backfields where there is a clear lead option who has a lot of value, at least RB2 value, and that is Darrell Williams. Darrell Williams should be on rosters. Sony Michel should be on rosters. We're going to talk about all those guys, but Darrell Williams is out there. CEH is 2 to 3 weeks. Sounds at minimum, maybe 4 or 5 at worst case, somewhere in that range. So how aggressive are you being? Because this is what I keep saying, Lauren. You can't thumb your nose up at running backs. I don't care if you have 4 guys healthy. By the way, can you just go play the lottery if you have all 4 running backs healthy? But on top of it, I'm still doing the same thing we just said last week. If you went and got Damian, I don't even care. Go get Darrell.
Yeah, I'm being aggressive on this one. And not just because he is now the de facto RB1, but Darrell Williams was starting to get some, production in his own right. So I kind of see this as a situation moving forward where even when Clyde Edwards-Helaire comes back, they may be kind of spreading that workload out just a little bit more to keep Clyde Edwards-Helaire healthier longer term. So that means that Darrell Williams could have some standalone value in your flex once Clyde Edwards-Helaire comes back. I do not feel the same way with another running back that is potentially on your waiver wires. But yeah, I'm aggressive. I'm being aggressive with it.
Would you be as or more aggressive as you just were last week with Damian Williams?
I think more. Yeah. And again, because the reason is I see David Montgomery as, that RB1 solid, more workload guy with a little bit of Damian Williams thrown in like they kind of did with Tariq Cohen a little bit. But when it comes to the Chiefs, I don't really know what their run game is going to look like. So I have to go back and take a look at what happened in that game. And Darrell Williams was involved. So I think he's going to stay involved. So I might be a hair more aggressive with Darrell Williams than I was Damian Williams. But either way, you should be aggressive with both of them. Should have been last week, I should say.
And real quick, for the people asking, it's rotoware.com. You actually can go get one of these shirts. It's a shout out to one of the nicest guys in the industry whose t-shirts, if you've ever seen it, like he's not sponsored, I was going to say licensed baseball. He can the MLBPA, so he can do players and all that type of stuff. He's a Yankees fan, so of course the Yankees have a ton of shirts. But in any case, I'm assuming the other running back you're talking about is Devontae Booker, who Saquon Barkley was why we started yesterday's show off with a super sad face, despite all the kicking travesty that was wonderful this week. So yeah, Saquon Barkley. Now on the Barkley side of things is that, as always, he wants to come back as quickly as possible, even potentially just 1 week. Obviously, we hope that doesn't turn into 2019 where he's not himself for weeks and weeks and weeks until the end of the season in weeks 15 and 16 when most of the people who had Barkley probably weren't in the playoffs to enjoy that at that time. That being said, because what does it feel like to you? I feel like it's 2 weeks because knowing Barkley, knowing the Giants probably want to get him healthy, but knowing that the Giants probably want to get him out there, I feel like 2 might be the answer here. And if so, Devontae Booker is fine, but that's a very short window, and even in its own right, it might be Mike Glennon under center this week. Oh, by the way, who will be facing the Rams?
Yeah, ugly, all the way around. So yeah, I think 2 weeks is accurate, but I don't think it's correct. Yeah, did you see what his ankle looked like? It was like
accurate in the guess, but it's not the right answer. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? They should hold him out for 3 weeks just to give the guy another week of rest. I get it. 3,
Whatever
4.
100%
It's
is.
nasty.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, ugh. I don't think there's any need to rush him back. We don't even know what's going on with Daniel Jones.
Look,
all of the Giants
I will
starters,
say this real
what
quick,
happened?
Lauren. Not to cut you off. Like, I'm not a football player, obviously. I actually played basketball, and I went to the doctor, had a grade 2 sprain, and it didn't blow up like his ankle did. I'm just telling you, and that's grade 2. So if it's grade 3, that's where I'm with you. And that, like, if you look at inside injuries and stuff like that, a grade 3 is usually closer to a month.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I mean, as someone who has rolled my ankles playing soccer for 15 years, they take a long time to heal because the sprain itself, and then there's ligaments all up in there, but just the act of the optics of that ankle was hideous. So just the swelling is going to take 2 weeks to go down. It was really bad. So yeah, they should hold him out.
On the side of his ankle.
Literally, it was gross. So it's like, is that a tennis ball? Nope, that's his ankle. That's disgusting.
All right, so let's put up Devontae Booker versus, how about this next one, Alex Collins, who just stepped in for Chris Carson with his neck injury, might be back this week, maybe, question mark on Chris Carson, but Alex Collins out there over 70% of the snaps. Look, I would say, I was about to say look good, but 90% good. He basically looks like Devontae Booker and Alex Collins are in the same conversation. So, but Alex Collins might be already dealing with Chris Carson, and assuming that Alex Collins is still sitting out there, which he is in a lot of leagues, do you still prioritize Booker? Because for that reason alone, I do lean Booker, even though I agree with you on the Barkley situation.
Yeah, I would lean Booker here too, even despite the really bad matchup. The problem with Alex Collins is that not only do we have the question mark of Chris Carson, but we also have DJ Dallas, who is pretty heavily involved in the passing game. So he was out there for a lot of snaps. I get it. He really wasn't that explosive. But again, they were playing the Rams. So Who knows? But yeah, I think I might lean Devontae Booker there for longevity based on time. So you're talking about 2 weeks, maybe 3 if the Giants want to be smart. I don't know, but I think I might go Devontae Booker here simply because we don't know who's going to be throwing the football for either team. And Geno Smith actually looked pretty darn good when it came to the Seahawks. Wow, so many injuries. This is absolutely insane. But yeah, that's very close for me, but I think I might lean Devontae Booker. Like by
Geno Smith, former New York Giant, actually.
I know.
Also, how about that?
He did so well. I was impressed.
Well, he's got a lot. It's very nice. He's got a better situation there, even with less weapons, fewer weapons at the wide receiver position for everybody. Stannis Baratheon. There's fewer for everybody that gets that reference. Cincinnati Bengals, by the way. So what are we doing here? Because this is turning, all of a sudden it's a mess. It was Joe Mixon doesn't practice the entire week. We don't even get the full-blown report.
He had a high ankle sprain, and then suddenly he's out there doing the Irish jig like Alex Collins. Like, okay.
So cut was terrific and didn't look like anything on that touchdown. But the reports are still that he's not 100% on that ankle, which is what we're talking about similarly with Barkley. So maybe Barkley can be back in a week. But all that being said, Joe Mixon's out there, but the problem here is now P. Ryan looked good, got the touchdown. He's on COVID, which we don't know whether or not, because he's got to clear twice, and whether or not he's on the, had the vaccine or whatever. We don't know what's going on with P. Ryan. That's the point. And Chris Evans, who I had said, I don't remember if we talked about him on this show last week, but I said that I think is the better all-around running back, but he's still a rookie and learning. So what do we do? Are you going after Chris Evans? Like, are you going to take Chris Evans? Like, say your middle waiver priority for everybody out there that doesn't run Fab, please change to Fab. But in case you're still in those leagues with rolling waivers and you're in the middle and you know you're not going to get Darrell Williams and you know you're not going to get Devontae Booker even for his 2 weeks, like, do you throw that flyer on Chris Evans just because it could end up being his lead all of a sudden?
I mean, I guess, but no, I hate this situation so much. And I said it on my Sunday live show. I was like, I want to avoid the situation entirely because I don't know who it's going to be. It could be Joe Mixon. It could be Samaje Perine. It could be Chris. I have no idea. So I would really love to stay away from it. And the person I would actually like to get over Chris Evans, unless we know more, somehow, some way, before the end of the day when waivers run, or if your waivers run a day later, which I actually have a couple leagues that do that. I mean, that'd be nice, but I actually might want to get Khalil Herbert over Chris Evans. I don't know. It's just that situation is such a hot mess. You might have to out of necessity, but I don't like it.
The funny thing is with that backfield is it's all sell high to me. I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't even have that here because I almost forgot to put Khalil Herbert in this week's waivers because I recommended him so heavily last week, as in get Damian and Khalil Herbert. Like, if you miss out on Damian, not expecting that kind of split. Now, if you look at that game, they were comfortably running out the clock in the third quarter already. And you don't expect that most weeks. But I do like Herbert. And if you're talking about long-term thought process behind the Bears, if you think about it, David Montgomery, potentially out the door. Damian Williams, potential stopgap out the door. They might be evaluating Herbert, who people forgot how good he was in college. And all that being said is he might continue to get work. Now, is it going to be that heavy? Maybe 60-40 is more of the norm, but still somebody who could have RB3 flex value, especially now we're in the buys. It's week 6. We have buys for the next 5 or 6 weeks this year? I don't even know. We're here. We're having to deal with it. So I am with you on Herbert. I am with you on Herbert over Evans. I would still take a flyer on Evans just in case. All it takes is Mixon aggravating that injury. So there's a couple other random names here. Do you have interest in any of them? I know Sony Michel, because I already said Sony Michel. If he's still lingering out there, Darrell Henderson's always 1 week away from being hurt again. And I love Darrell Henderson. I'm not saying that. I wish he could be 100% healthy. But Ramondre Stevenson, not worried about. Actually, save him because I'm going to bring in Damian Harris for the worry report. Jeff Wilson, the report now is November, they hope sooner. November's 3 weeks. Sooner would be 2 or 1, which 1 would be after their bye. Yeah. So are you stashing Wilson? Are you picking up Giovanni Bernard after what just happened? Anybody out there that I didn't mention that you just think is worth our attention?
I do like Giovanni Bernard, but to stash. It's not like I don't think he's going to be an automatic starter, but I want to see what kind of usage he has with Tom Brady, who just really loves to throw the football, and he's very good. So I want to see if it's more trend or more fluke, and I want to have him in my back pocket with the bye weeks coming up and with all of these injuries. I think he could be a real sneaky player if it ends up panning out that he starts getting those kind of targets. He didn't have as much usage. So the first game we saw that he went crazy, he had 10 receptions or like 10 targets or something crazy and not a single rushing attempt. This time he wasn't that much involved in the offense with Tom Brady, but he was still targeted in the red zone. So he's going to be touchdown dependent, but still, if you're desperate, I think the one I like most out of all of those is going to be Giovanni Bernard as a stash.
Okay. And I double checked. It is not week 13. We're going to have buys from now until week 14.
Oh.
December 12th, 13th, 9th for the Thursday game. I think
I always want to pretend like we don't have buys when it's like the regular season, weeks 1 through 4.
Forever this year.
You know, and it's like, oh, yay, look at all of these players we get to choose from, and I don't have to worry about it at all. And then last year it was week 4, but this year it's week 5. This starts hitting week 6, and it's like, oh, yeah, I forgot. This is hard.
This is week 11 and 12, there's only 2 teams each week. So, again, the NFL, like, why are we doing, like, just condense it more. It's very simple math. It's 4 times 8, done, 32. It's, it's right there for you. We don't have to do the 2 and the 16 bye and mix it, like, it's very easy. I don't know. But again, I'm not a schedule maker, so I don't know. Maybe it's harder than I think. All that being said, how about dropping wise? Because we don't usually get into that too much. But running backs you're willing to drop is not going to be a lot because running back right now is already a wasteland as it always is.
Yeah.
These are the only ones that I have. And I for my waiver column every single week, Lauren, I have Dumpsville. That's with Dumpsville with a little trash can. There is only one running back there. Last week, there was a couple, one including Myles Gaskin, who I want to talk about. Yeah, people are now ready to pick him back up. And see, you're shaking your head. They have to be passing game heavy, script-wise, for him to have value as an RB3. I know he just finished as a top 10 running back, but those touchdowns is something that you can bank on. I
just dropped him, and I don't feel bad about it.
You know what? Again, if you want to go pick him up over Sony Michel, fine, but... Best case scenario, you're looking for a passing game script, and you're looking for that kind of matchup and still hoping to get some value out of that. So the only one I have in Dumpsville is Trey Sermon. I know. But here's what I said. I don't want to drop him. They are on their bye. All it takes is one Elijah Mitchell injury for Shanahan to be backed into a corner again, but that's the point. I was wrong about one thing. I thought Sermon would get about a 40, maybe 50% split after what he just showed with Trey Lance at quarterback, after what he just showed in the second half alone with Trey Lance at quarterback. It was proof that Sermon needs that kind of quarterback and looks really good with that kind of quarterback. Shanahan said, don't care. I'm all in on Elijah Mitchell. So if you need help, because we are in our buys, Lauren, would you let Sermon go? I mean, Wilson's not guaranteed after the bye.
Desperate times, desperate measures. I get it. I don't like it either. It's not like I'm like, like I did with Myles Gaskin, and then I still didn't care that he had a great game. I was like, I dropped him. I'm not going to run back and go pick him up. Someone else can have that headache.
Would you drop Sermon for Giovanni Bernard?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would. What's really strange is I get a lot of these questions from the people that have both Elijah Mitchell and Trey Sermon. If that's the case, don't even think twice. Drop Trey Sermon. That's totally fine. Or try to trade him. Who knows? But yeah, you can drop Trey Sermon in that instance, and I think I would. By the way, trying to sift through Nihal's and Alex's 8,000 comments. I appreciate you guys. I'm joking. There's cluster in here. I hope you're right, Casey. Casey says Saquon's injury looked worse because he ruptured a blood vessel. So I'm hoping that's the case. I'm not, for everybody out there, not saying Casey, you better be, Casey, you're going to be banned from this chat if you're lying to us. I'm just letting you know that right now. You can't throw out doctor news like that. I'm hoping you're right, though. So that's the doctor news. The doctor news there. So, I crushed that category in Jeopardy yesterday, by the way.
Doctor news?
No, it was medical acronyms.
Oh, you mean actual watching Jeopardy?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you were 65 years old.
I love Jeopardy. It's a must in our household. We record it and it's a thing. It's a thing.
Have you ever recorded, secretly watched some of it and then pretended like you didn't and spit out answers for your husband?
No, I can't do that. I'm better than my husband at it anyway, so he wouldn't even know the difference.
But it's just on DirecTV, you wouldn't be able to pull that off because as soon as you play some of it, it turns it from white to gray. So
Yeah.
like if you're already you're
He
getting
goes to the
told on.
bathroom or something, and I pause it, but I actually secretly fast forward it to see what the answers are, and then rewind it again. No, I don't. I don't need to do that, Jake.
All right,
that
fair
good.
enough. All right, last one. I want to bring Ramondre Stevenson into this because let's pivot into the worry report. And I did put Damian Harris into the worry report because a lot of people were asking. I gave him only 2. The only reason I gave him a second one, Lauren, and actually even a first one to start, is because injury. If you watch that game, Damian Harris was essentially their bell cow, as we saw the week before. He was the highest used running back in the passing game. Got a little dinged up. Still came back later in the second half, but obviously wasn't 100% at that time. So I give him 2 for that reason, because let's also be honest about it. Stevenson, 2 things, Lauren. One is, again, I keep saying this, he's LeGarrette Blount. He is just that hammer. He's not going to be involved in the passing game. But also, he didn't even look that good in that game. So I am grabbing Stevenson if I have an open spot, just in case Harris misses time. But I'm not that interested, and I'm also not that worried about Damian Harris.
Agreed on both respects. I am not interested in Ramondre Stevenson. I don't even know if I would snag him to put him in there. I don't know if I would.
I mean, if Harris is out, he's RB3.
I don't know. I'd rather have Khalil Herbert.
We've already established the Khalil Herbert.
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
Ramondre Stevenson or Chris Evans?
Oh, gross. Neither. I quit
one.
this game. I don't like this game.
Stevenson or Captain America?
Captain America.
There you go. All right, we got you to say Chris Evans. See how I did that?
Jeez, yeah, I see what you did there.
Yeah,
fell for it.
I'm surprised you didn't even pick it up initially.
No,
All
I
right.
just
More worries.
love Chris Evans, like the actor Chris Evans.
If Chris Evans was, let's say, not fat but chubby, would you still love Chris Evans?
Yes, of course.
Okay, I'm just curious. I'm just curious how much.
I'm not that shallow, for crying out loud.
I'm just interested. Well, I mean, what's Thor's name?
I love Taco Bell. Let's go.
I can't even think of the real actor for Thor.
Hemsworth.
Thank you, Hemsworth.
Yeah,
The Hemsworth
Chris
brothers.
Hemsworth. Yes.
What? Hey, am I the only one, or does the third Hemsworth brother seem like I feel bad for him?
There's a third Hemsworth brother.
Yes, and he looks nothing like them.
No.
You didn't. Oh, I'm like, dude. I was like, what the hell happened? I feel bad for you because these other guys, I'll admit, those are good looking dudes. And then you look at the third one, and he's not ugly for everybody to get mad out there. It's just he doesn't look like he's related. And I was like, what the heck happened? So, in any case, back on track as we sidebar about
waivers.
I'm super excited for the Spider-Man movie in December, by the way. I cannot be more excited.
There's a whole bunch of them coming out I'm excited for.
Oh, I know, but there's legitimately, yes, the Eternals, all those look good, but I was just the Spider-Man movie by far away. So excited for that. And people are like, the little stinger and Venom made up for the entire movie. Like, shut up. The movie was okay. You can't say, if a 30-second stinger makes the movie better, there's a problem with the movie. Let's be clear about that for everybody out there hating
I'm
my
not watching
review.
it.
Okay. Worry report. We're on track here.
Back to football.
Worry report. Justin Fields got the Infinity Duck. He has the Infinity Duck this week because it doesn't get any worse. It can't get any worse. I used to cap out at 5, but now 100% he is the Infinity Duck. I've given out the Infinity Duck once every the past 3 weeks. I've given out every single week. Somebody has gotten the Infinity Duck. He is here to. He's actually a villain. He's an arch villain. So there you go. Oh. Because here's why, Lauren, and I'm serious, and it spills over to A-Rob and Mooney getting 4 ducks each. 4. Not quite 5, but 4. Because the passing game is still being capped for what they're giving Fields. Fields has been announced as the starter, and they're not turning back to Andy Dalton, at least it seems like. And the biggest problem with Fields in his own right is he's not even running like Trey Lance. I don't even need 16 carries. Give me 10. Fields... here's why, Infinity Duck, is Fields even usable in super flex? That's how bad it is right now.
No, not right now, but could he later? I need a little bit more time when it comes to that offense because I feel like it's so kerfuffled. There is not enough rhythm going on yet, and I think they need to establish rhythm, and then I think things will become a little bit clearer. So I'm not quite at Infinity Duck, and I'm really trying to imagine what a duck villain looks like a seriously scary duck villain.
Hold on.
Not like the cartoon duck villain.
No,
I'm talking about like a scary duck villain.
A scary duck villain.
Is there such a thing?
I was gonna pull Negaduck from remember Negaduck? You don't?
What are we doing? This show.
It's behind here, and I can't pull him out because there's stuff on top of him.
I think the naked duck needs to stay behind the TV.
No, not Naked Duck. Negaduck. Nega. He's Darkwing Duck's villain. He's basically.
I love Darkwing Duck.
And you don't remember Negaduck?
I do, but it just sounded like you said naked duck.
I got a naked duck behind my TV over here.
It's so weird.
I mean, all ducks are technically naked.
It's true.
And we talked about
very philosophical.
They even talked about it on Friends. Why does Donald Duck not wear pants, but when he gets out of the shower, he puts the towel around him?
This is philosophical. This is what people have come to listen to.
This is exactly. We have 0 viewers after today's show. We are so far off the rails talking about Disney princesses and naked ducks. Naked ducks.
Yeah, I'm not as freaked out about Justin Fields yet. I am willing to give him. I'm sure my mascara is all over my face right now, which is really scary. I mean, it goes with my Halloween nails, but I'm willing to apply the Infinity Duck potential, but I don't really know if he's quite there yet. Same kind of feeling I have for Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney is I don't know really where this offense is going quite yet. I think it's a little premature to freak out. But I can see the potential. My hand is reaching for the panic button. Like I'm reaching over there to be like, rah, 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 but it's not quite there yet.
So I'm tweeting out.
Is the panic button a quack?
No, but I am tweeting out that we're still live for about 25 minutes, saying that we are off the rails talking about naked ducks. Just for everybody out there. Yes,
Don't
that is a
Google
real
it.
thing. We're a real thing.
Oh, I just kicked my camera too. Oh, it's an earthquake over here.
How many ducks would you give Aaron Jones? Because I want this from the outside, Lauren, looking in, because I said this in the waiver column. I've been called an Aaron Jones hater because I never wanted to take Aaron Jones as a top 6 or 7 running back. I said as a back end RB1, yes, because I know if he stays healthy, which will happen. You can say this about a lot of running backs. If a running back of that level stays healthy, they probably finish 5 or 6 because of attrition. It's not on a points per game basis. If you took all the healthy running backs on a points per game basis, Aaron Jones is probably still 10, 11, 12 because it's about 15, 16 points a game. And the reason I don't like Aaron Jones is because the Packers won't use him 20 times a game. I would love if they did. He is one of the best, most efficient runners in the league and a pass catcher. But as we're seeing again this year, they only give him the 15, 16 per week, and you get a 30-point game as much as you're likely to get an 8-point game. He is essentially the Will Fuller of running backs. I like him, but now people are supremely concerned after what just happened with A.J. Dillon last week. And by the way, Aaron Jones only got 100 yards rushing. So how concerned are you? Because I say, for me, I'm not concerned at all because this is what I expected from Aaron Jones, but there are people out there worried about A.J. Dillon now.
I'm glad you put some context to this because I literally was going to ask, like, Aaron Jones running back for the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Jones, why is he even on this list at all? Why is anybody
I'm getting
worried?
questions about him.
This is weird. No, stop it. This is exactly what Aaron Jones does. It does not mean that he's not a bad running back. It does not mean that he's not going to be a productive running back, but he's not one of those Christian McCaffrey types. He's not one of those people that constantly gets 300 rush attempts a week. It's not in his DNA. He will have huge blow up games. He's not someone that you can take out of the lineup and just play on a matchup base. It's just who Aaron Rodgers is when it comes to playing from behind, like we saw. It's Devontae Adams, and then Aaron Jones is there to be a part of the game. But no, why are we even talking about this?
I don't know. By the way, Duncan said Donald's towel is not for modesty, it's for drying. No, if it's drying, he would just have it over his shoulders.
Yeah. But wait a minute. Because it's a duck, water rolls right off the duck's back. So
they don't even need to dry.
They don't even need to dry. Why do you have a towel?
Boom.
It's a prop.
It's perception modesty. But
it's just optics.
Optics.
Oh
my God.
Make it look like he just got out of the shower. Put a towel on him. He's naked anyway.
Phil said Donald would shake it off, and that just put Taylor Swift in my head. So thank you for that, Phil. Now that I got her song stuck in my head, and then it's going to be the rest of the day. All right. Miles Sanders, does he get the Infinity Duck? Because I gave him 4. only because he's an RB3. Like, you could still put it this way. What's the difference in the miles? What's the difference between Myles Gaskin and Miles Sanders at this point?
Not much. I don't even know. I have never understood the love for Miles Sanders ever. Like, I have not gotten on board the last 3 years. I've written about
fantasy
it every
or talent?
summer. Fantasy
Okay.
wise. So that just from the fantasy football perspective here, not as like a talented running back. No. So for me, he's had the infinity duck like for a while. So that is just kind of my thing with Miles Sanders. You should have known this.
I really wish I could find out where the Negaduck is. So and the Naked Duck, too.
I have to get a duck for my shelves now. It just has to work. It has to happen.
A naked duck for you. They're all naked. So it
They're
doesn't
all
matter.
naked.
All right. 2 wide receivers together. Do either of these wide receivers get more than one duck? Because one is, I essentially would put 0, but I guess 1 is just because they're in the conversation. People are asking about it. I'm getting a lot, and I'm surprised. Similar to what you just said about Aaron Jones. Surprised. A lot of people concerned about A.J. Brown and Stephon Diggs.
Oh, I can understand why people are upset. This is not what we're used to seeing. And it's not what we expected, I guess I should say. But no, I am not giving either of them more than an egg. Not even a whole duck.
How aggressive would you be in trying to trade low on both? Would you? I mean, I'm going heavy.
Oh,
trying to get it.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Trade low candidates. People are freaking out. Now is the time to target if you want either of those guys, which you should, because they're both amazing.
So if I told you a wide receiver who is volume-based, volume is king receiver, everybody by saying that knows the nickname that I gave him, the king volume, or the volume king at the beginning of the season. I can't even talk right. But
it's those naked ducks, man. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you. If it wasn't for the fact that I said his worst game would not be in heavy rain, where his quarterback threw 4 interceptions, it would be in a game where his quarterback threw for 300 yards and was actually having the best game of his career and just couldn't get on the same page as him. How concerned would you be about Brandon Cooks?
I don't know if I consider last week an outlier. So I'm giving Cooks about a 2 naked duck. And the reason I'm sticking with that 2 is because Davis Mills played lights out. Like, I don't even know what was going on with Davis Mills, but he's like, look at me.
Well,
I'm
he was
an amazing
lights out except for
quarterback.
throwing to Cooks. He legitimately was not on the same page as Cooks in that game.
I don't think that is going to happen every single week. It's going to go back to the, oh my God, I'm about to die, Davis Mills, who has to throw to Brandon Cooks. So I think last week was an outlier. I'm not that concerned. 2.
All right. So behind Darkwing Duck.
There it is.
I found Negaduck. There's Negaduck.
You did. Oh my God, I forgot the red hat.
See?
I forgot about.
And
Oh
the
my
yellow,
God, it's been so long.
Darkwing and Negaduck. By the way,
awesome.
The Negaduck is actually an exclusive too. That's why he's still in the box.
Look at you, all fancy dancy.
There's I actually have Launchpad too, which is technically from both.
Nice. I need that red hat. I am going to get that red hat. I'm going to wear it.
There you go. All right. So how many concerned ducks do you give Marvin Jones, who was supposed to be like Brandon Cooks and volume and be offset by volume? Granted, there's a touchdown that if he separates a little bit more or if the ball's just better placed, potentially has. And we're not even talking about Marvin Jones, but the volume wasn't even that heavy in the game with no DJ Chark. So here's why I said I gave him a few ducks, Lauren, is because it's essentially like Sterling Shepard last year being asked to be the number 1 for the Giants. Marvin Jones has been one of the best number 2s in the league. The problem is when being the number 1 and getting that kind of defensive attention, which is considered like, might as well bring Hawkinson into this conversation. When you have defenses focused on saying, you know what, we're going to take away this person. You beat us with the rest of your garbage. And that's kind of what Marvin is dealing with right now. So that's why I kind of gave him, I think I gave him 2 and an egg. Double check for you. No, he got a full 3.
Yeah, I'm giving him a full 3. I'm tempted to drop an egg on that 3 too, but I'll stick with 3 ducks right now. And I need to see how Trevor Lawrence and how the Jaguars can pick themselves up, can move forward with a lot of this off the field drama going on right now with Urban Meyer. So, you know, football is a human sport. Okay. So I understand that there could be some hiccups along the road. Trevor Lawrence is still working. There's a lot of weird communication going on in there. Like when Urban Meyer was like, oh, we didn't do the quarterback sneak because our quarterback isn't comfortable with it. And then the press asked Trevor Lawrence and they're like, oh, so you're not comfortable with it. He's like, no, I'm totally comfortable with it. Like there's obviously something going on there. So I have concern for Marvin Jones, but I also do have some faith that the players themselves are going to just be like, see you later, Urban Meyer. And they're just going to start coaching themselves and maybe things will pick up. I don't know. It's just hard. It's hard to see this because I really wanted him to do well, especially with this kind of what looked to be a positive environment for him without DJ Chark, but it's becoming disconcerting.
Okay. All right. So last receiver concern wise, this quarterback had 32 attempts. His quarterback threw 305 yards and 2 touchdowns. And yet this number one wide receiver for his team, who used to be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, went 2 for 20 in this game with still no Jarvis Landry. That should be the giant hit for everybody out there. How many ducks for Odell Beckham? I gave him 4.
Oh, I'm only at 2. I'm only at 2 for OBJ. I think a lot of this has to do with Baker Mayfield and his torn labrum. I know it's his non-throwing shoulder, but it'll still throw you off, if you will. Sorry, using the word throw 500 times there. So I don't necessarily know how much of this is OBJ's fault, as much of it is just the necessity of the offense, which is a run first, run heavy with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So, but you should know that going into those drafts that OBJ was not going to be the OBJ of the Giants. You know, this was their primary guys are Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. So
and then Jarvis Landry, who's about to return.
Yeah, and he's a wide receiver 3 flex opportunity against the right matchups. I kind of see him more as like the Will Fuller type. Not necessarily as like an auto start. I think OBJ is
old Will
is
Fuller.
Matchup based. Yeah.
Before the PEDs, Will Fuller.
Before the PEDs, Will Fuller. Yeah, I'm not too concerned because this is what I expected from him. But if you did not expect this from him, then I can understand the 4 ducks. But this doesn't surprise me.
Well, so I'm with you in that I did expect this, and I expected Jarvis Landry to be the better receiver, but I also didn't expect it to be this bad. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it has to do with Baker Mayfield though and his injury.
I think it just has also to do with the fact that Baker Mayfield, for the reports last year saying that Baker Mayfield's better without Odell Beckham, blah, blah, blah. No, he is better. No, hold on. He's better not without Odell Beckham. He's better without forcing it to Odell Beckham.
Yes.
And that's the rub here. And so what it comes down to me, if Jarvis Landry is back, I'm going to put Odell Beckham is synonymous with Darnold and Mooney at me. For that, that's where he is at this point.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yep, I agree.
Okay, so let's pivot this into a question for pickups.
Ooh.
The most popular name, if you go to search wide receivers right now, is Kadarius, I'm going to punch you out, Tony. And I mean, honestly, that's really good. Oh, who's the boxer? There's a Tony boxer, too, like last name Tony. Why am I having a brain fart? I can actually see him in my mind.
Oh no, I'm not. I don't follow boxing, so.
Oh, this is back in the day. So somebody will tell me in the comments probably.
Yes.
Back in the Mike Tyson days, I can't even think. I'm having a brain fart here. Anyway, Kadarius Tony, everybody wants to pick him up, and people are asking, even in these comments, even in my comments of the article, do I drop Beckham for Tony? Thank you, James Tony. Do I drop Marvin Jones for Kadarius Tony? Do I drop? Let's go higher, Brandon Cooks for Kadarius Tony? People want to go get Tony, and people are dropping some significant names. Where are you going for this, Lauren? Because for everybody out there, forget the Mike Glennon might be under quarterback situation. Sterling Shepard and Slayton are both supposed to return this week. Kenny Golladay shouldn't miss more than 2 weeks max.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one's tough. I think this is going to be really roster dependent because Kadarius Tony did see a lot of volume in that game. Out of necessity. So you do bring up a good point. Both wide receivers are they coming back in this week? Is that what they're
supposed to both come back? Shepard was closer, but both of them are supposed to come back. Both were actually on the field in pregame last week.
Yeah, I think, oh God, it's just really just going to depend on his health. I cannot see myself dropping Brandon Cooks for Kadarius Tony. I can't drop Marvin Jones for Kadarius Tony either. I just can't because I know the potential is there. I know it's there. The problem with Kadarius Tony, just like you said, we have Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, but then on the other hand, we also don't have Saquon Barkley for a couple of weeks. But then there's Mike Glennon, or is it Daniel Jones? way too many question marks when it comes to the
even if
Giants.
it's Daniel Jones, he
That's
gets
hard.
that Jalen Ramsey guy this week for everybody out there. Here's where
he's
it comes
pretty
down
good.
to. Yeah, he's pretty good. I have Tony in there. I tried to tell you, and I would add Tony before Devontae Parker, who should be back also, and is one of the top 2, because I'll chase the upside. I'll add him before I add AJ Green and Rondell Moore and Elijah Moore. But I wanted to bring the Moores into the Moops into this conversation for Seinfeld fans out there. I wanted to bring the Moops into this conversation because Tony is just like Rondell Moore and Elijah Moore. If you say, yes, I see Nahal said Tony's better than all of them. Yes, on a talent basis, Elijah Moore, probably better than anybody on that team outside of Corey Davis, and there's the potential that he becomes better than Corey Davis. Rondell Moore, better than anybody on that team except for DeAndre Hopkins, obviously. Tony is better than anybody, possibly, arguably, even Kenny Golladay. But when you have this many options and you are a rookie and you are trying to figure out the NFL, it's just volume. And that's where I'm with you on Brandon Cooks and Marvin Jones. Volume is king. And if he gets that kind of volume we just saw, but that was a very fortunate situation, very similar to Evan Ingram.
Yep.
Evan Ingram's rookie season was the same thing. He was essentially the number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, exactly. And in the last week, he only saw 4 targets, 4 receptions. And yeah, I think he had like 55 or something yards, but he didn't get in the end zone. I mean, it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess for the Giants. Yeah, but
Darnell Mooney or Kadarius Tony?
Kadarius Tony.
Okay. How about so here's I want to talk about potential Dumpsville wide receivers.
Oh boy.
I'm assuming you're going Tony over Curtis Samuel, which why the heck did Washington even roll out Curtis Samuel? Like what this is on you guys.
And you know what? I had high hopes for Curtis Samuel because he is an excellent route runner. He has history with Ron Rivera. The experiment is now over. I mean, I'm done with Curtis Samuel personally. No,
They ruined him. I'm not even putting that on Curtis
sad.
Samuel. It's unfortunate. How about this one? Cole Beasley. His snap percentage dropped to 38.9% in week 5. It's been in a free fall. For comparison wise, snap percentage in week 1, 89.9.
Oh my goodness.
51 percentage points drop.
Did you say 30?
30. No, I said 51.
Okay.
Or did I say 31?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I did 2 seconds ago. Don't even remember.
I was so verklempt by
I might have, because I was reading the 38.9. I might have just one of those brain things, like when you see the color red, but somebody says.
But it was 38. It was 38.9.
No, it is down to 30. Yeah, that is clear.
Okay,
it's down to 38.9.
That's what I was asking. Okay.
So
yeah.
Cole Beasley or Kadarius Tony?
Okay, in this situation, I'm going to chase the upside, like you were saying, with Kadarius Tony, because it looks like Emmanuel Sanders is the new bestie in that offense, which I don't hate at all because I love Emmanuel Sanders. But I do think that Kadarius Tony can offer more upside than Cole Beasley can.
I think the only concern with Cole Beasley is similar to some of the backup running backs. Remember, like if Emmanuel Sanders gets hurt, Cole Beasley's going to skyrocket right back up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dropping Brandon Ayuk, who is also on a bye and apparently in Shanahan's doghouse for Kadarius Tony.
If you need someone that you have to start, yeah, you might have to. I don't love it, but if you are in desperation mode, I do agree. I don't know how many people are going to be running in and swooping him off the waiver wire. It might be a while before he starts getting productive again. So that's tough. That's really tough. But yeah, if you need to do it, I would.
Okay, last one. This is an interesting one because this is honestly your opinion of dropping this person in general. Robbie Anderson.
Scared. Yeah.
Robbie Anderson, you can do it. But here's the biggest thing about it. 28 and 21% of the team's target percentage the past 2 weeks still only equated to 5 for 46 and 2 for 30.
Yes, that's why. He'll be great. We like 10 and on, 11 and on. In between, you don't need to worry about it. You can drop him.
You can drop him?
Yep.
All right, let's circle back. How aggressive are you being going after Devontae Parker and AJ Green, the vets?
I like AJ Green because I really like this offense more so than I like Devontae Parker because I'm not as convinced. Obviously, we're talking about the Cardinals and the Dolphins. That's like in a completely different realm of atmospheres there. So yeah, I like AJ Green. He's been pretty impressive. So I'm more aggressive with AJ Green than I am with Devontae Parker.
All right. Before we get to tight ends, let's see. Can I finally get Lauren to say yes to a Detroit Lions wide receiver? Because
no.
Here's why. Tyrell Williams still not back. Quintus Cephas is now out. And Amon-Ra St. Brown made some noise. You're still saying no. Because, well, here's why. Let's talk worries with tight ends and TJ Hawkinson, who is getting the full, we're going to stop your best weapon. Go ahead and try to, as Lauren has continued to said, the junk pile of wide receivers for the Lions. Try to beat us with Jared Goff and those guys. Go right ahead because we're just going to take away Hawkinson. So now, if you're not aggressive in going about, then I say aggressive. If you're not interested in going after Amon-Ra St. Brown, what level does TJ Hawkinson get for Ducks? Because, oh, really? I gave him 3, and there's a hatchling. I was going to say
2 and an egg.
No, there's 3 and a hatchling sitting there on the way.
Hatchling? Oh, little baby duck.
Yeah.
Oh, I love little baby. I'm 2 and an egg.
How?
Because I think that once Jared Goff kind of figures out what he has with Jamal Williams and with DeAndre Swift and whatever, trash heap we have going on with the wide receivers, and that's not their fault. It's just kind of what happens in Detroit. I think that he is going to continue to be the stud. I think he is going to, continue to figure it out. This was a weird week for me when it comes to the Lions. My heart broke for Dan Campbell, and I foresee good things on the horizon. I'm hoping that just puts it out into the atmosphere because I'm so tired of the poor Lions losing in this fashion. I really want them to do well. So I'm 2 and an egg. I'm not that worried about TJ Hawkinson. I should be, but I'm not.
let me see if we can get you a third one here, because first 2 games. This is 2. Averaged 45 routes, 21% of the team's targets, and he had 16 for 163 and 2. That was in 2 games. Mm-hmm. Since then, 3 games, 33 routes per game. Oof. But if quick math, everybody, that's 12 drop per game. And some of that has to do with how much this offense is on the field, but it still matters. But the bigger part about it, 21% team target share down to 13%. Just 13 targets in 3 games for 8 for 74 and 0 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think they'll figure it out. I'm not that worried. I might be next week, but I'm not that worried right now. We can argue about it. I don't care.
No, that's fine. Hey, look, I'm clearly more worried, and that's why we have these discussions. All right, so before we get out of here, streaming tight ends, your best, I say, like your highest interest and 0 interest. We'll kind of hit other ends of the spectrum here. There's 5. Dan Arnold, Hunter Henry, Tyler Conklin, Ricky Seals-Jones. Actually, there's only 4. Who's your top and who's your I'm not interested?
I'd like to throw Evan Ingram in there out of necessity for an option if he's available, simply because we need people to catch the ball. If Darius Slayton and Sterling Shepard aren't out there, I am going aggressively after Hunter Henry because of his matchup against the Dallas Cowboys, who I believe have allowed the 4th most points to the tight end position, somewhere around there. Don't quote me. I do like that one a lot. Ricky Seals-Jones, if you are in deeper leagues, or in daily, I don't hate Ricky Seals-Jones. He saw, I think, like 6 targets or something. And he's kind of filling in for that Logan Thomas role, especially with the banged up Curtis Samuel. So I don't hate Ricky Seals-Jones either. But other than that, Dan Arnold my interest is like a 3 out of 5.
All right. One word answer because we got to get out of here.
Okay,
top quarterback answer. Sam Darnold, Bridgewater, Mayfield, Lawrence, Heineke, or others.
Heineke.
All right, there you go. Follow Stepmom Lauren at Stepmom Lauren, stepmomlauren.com. You can ask her more about why Heineke if you want over there. Check out FTN, code ALLIN, 20% off, or go to theathletic.com go to theathletic.com/BetsTV, all capitals, and you get a first free month. We got a wow out of here. I don't even know why Cam said wow. Hopefully because of how amazing this show is and talking about naked ducks. We'll be back tomorrow. Jeff will have no interest in talking about any of those things. We'll see you later.
Boo.